Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Oh boy. Our favorite swirler, divester, black women in luxury, black women level up, these black men ain't ish. Swirler defender extraordinaire, Miss Chrissie. Man, y'all give her a round of applause. A round of applause for Miss Chrissie. All right, y'all. So I guess Chrissie watched the interview that Rose, that's the young lady from Queens and of Kings, um, that Rose did with Tasha K. And so Chrissie has some things to say, right? And for the first people that are listening in, please let me know you're listening, because I did go live with only 30 minutes of warning. So, I don't know how many people are going to listen to this, but okay, fine. So Chrissie, I guess, listens to the interview, and she has a few things she says that I find interesting, and we're gonna go through it. By the way, as usual, link is in the description. Link is in the description. All right. Chrissie says, you know, something along the lines of black women are the primary breadwinners in their homes. I think Chrissie is being a bit misleading here, because Chrissie is not actually speaking about, and what's going on, Vic? What's going on, Namer? What's going on? Was this side reel? What's going on? So Chrissie, she's being a bit obtuse here, right? Chrissie, black men have more wealth than black women in America. Black men earn more than black women in America. So when you speak about black women being the primary breadwinners, and I looked at that graph, that chart that you posted, if you look at the co-breadwinners and you see how small that is, I think it was like 16% for black people or black women. That speaks to black men not being in the home. Black women are primary breadwinners because the black man is not there. Now, we already know that black women initiate, and women writ large initiate divorces. We know by some 70 or some odd percent, 80%. We know that women, once again, not only initiate divorces, initiate breakups at like 80, 90%. Chrissie, are you blaming black men for what black women are starting? I mean, that's typical black women behavior right there. That's typical women behavior right there. Are you blaming men for what women start? So let me get this right. So black women being the primary breadwinners because they're torpedoing and destroying their relationships with black men and any man, quite frankly, is black men's fault? Huh. But that's not really what we're going at. What we're speaking about is what you said of black women being the primary breadwinners. Yeah, in homes where there's not another adult. Yes, you're right. Yes, black women are primary breadwinners in the homes where there is no other adult. There is not another man, and there's not a man in the home. Yeah, that part. Right. And I want to like not really make fun of Chrissie too much in this, just in case she listens. I actually wanted to Chrissie, I'm gonna just straight up be honest with you. I actually want to put you in the position to just admit you don't care about nothing that's being said here. You don't care about the facts. You don't care about the history. You don't care about the statistics. You just want to use white men for you and other black women's insatiable inferiority complex to be like, ooh, look, I got me a white man. Look, I'm better than black women. Excuse me, said that wrong. I'm better than other white women. I'm better than white women. I got me a white man. I got me a non-black man. I just want you and other black women of your ilk, other black women that think like you, to just admit that y'all were hiding behind some out of context stats, if y'all even can actually use them. Y'all were hiding behind old-timey sayings coming from black women, and now that we have easily accessible information and data, now that we're kind of living in a different era, high-speed internet, you're still regurgitating the same talking points as your foremothers, but it's a bit more difficult. So just come out and say it, Chrissie. The issue you have here is that you want to be a black woman in luxury. Nothing wrong with that. And that there's not enough rich-ass black men who will kiss your ass for very little in return, right? Very little, if nothing, in return. Right? And of course, the white male validation, that part, the white male gaze, you all about that. Right? So, Chrissie says a lot of things about black male splaining that Tasha K was engaged. Tasha K was pretty damn aggressive with Rose. I want to say this to something you said, Chrissy. You spoke of how some of the women had an issue with Rose because Rose seemed to have emasculated her husband, her white husband, in that video, right? And how women had an issue with this. I think you might have missed the mark here if you're not purposely being obtuse. Chrissy, entertain this thought. Much of the issue that black women had was that Rose dispelled the fantasy. She took away the fantasy of the mythical, magical white man who can have other women, other non-black women, but he chose the dark-skinned black woman, the beautiful dark-skinned black woman. And what made this guy so important to the type of narratives that you push, Chrissy, is that Rose was a baby mama, a two-time, well, not two different men, but two children out of wedlock. And that's what made this story something that a lot of black women really gravitated to, is that Rose was a baby mama and she was still able to snatch her a white man. That's the point. It's, hey, you see black men, hey, you said nobody wants us, hey, right? You said these white men wouldn't want us, especially not no baby mama, not no dark-skinned black women baby mama. Chrissy, I get it. Once again, black men are these mouth-breathing idiots, dumb. We don't see anything. And as you said later on in your stream, and we're supposed to be these strong, and I'm paraphrasing, these specimens, these strong men and hyper masculine and masculine. Then why are we so easily controlled and and all of that? And I'm gonna get to that in a minute, right? You said that mocking black men, of course you did, right? That's your inner white supremacist showing, but cool, right? But Chrissy, like, I have to ask this question, and I'm not being funny. Are you purposely being obtuse here? The women had an issue with Rose speaking to her white husband the way she did and exposing their dynamic, which she tried to backtrack and run away from in that interview with Tasha K. They got mad at her because she dispelled the fantasy. The fantasy is the rich white dude, the connected white dude, the white dude that's at least doing far better than you are financially, that kisses your ass. That way you can wave him around in black men's faces. What's the point of being in the interracial relationship with the white man if you can't antagonize black men with it? Stop acting dumb, Chrissy. You know this is what that's about. Especially a darker skinned black woman that's a baby mama. The whole point is to say, you see, black men, she's a baby mama and she still got her a white man with more money than you. Stop acting dumb. And on the other side, you said there were a number of black women that were saying, what's the point of being in an interracial relationship if you're not going to financially come up? And I'm paraphrasing, but you know what you said, right? And in a weird way, that's admitting that black men are dusty and how many black women are, once again, primary breadwinners and et cetera, and how many black women have to date down and marry down when they're with the black man. So a black women saying, what's the point of being with a white man if you're not leveling up, is like a tacit admission that when you are with a black man, you're dating and marrying down. Chrissy, you, from my understanding, were not only raised in America, you were born in America. You're a black woman somewhere in the Midwest that was born and raised in America. You can stop acting dumb now unless you're not acting dumb. Chrissy, we live in an anti-black society. You know it, I know it. I know you know it. You don't have to say it. And we live in an anti-black male society. You know it, I know it. You don't have to say it. As a matter of fact, I expect you not to say it. You were talking about that coddling crap on black men. You know black men aren't coddled in this society, but you could keep on talking that crap all you want because Negroes aren't stomped out when they pull up with the white girl. That's what you really mean. Why the hell don't we stomp these men out when the rich black men pull up with the white girls and the Latinas? That's what you really mean by coddled, but okay, fine. You know this society is anti-black, particularly anti-black male. I'm not even going to entertain you with the BS. So, what these women are saying, and you know this is what they're really saying, what's the point of dating out to a white man, marrying a white man in an anti-black society, in a society where white men are more advantaged than anyone else? Now that's to be debated, especially over the past 60 or so years when it comes to white women, but fine. Everyone knows that this is a society that advantages white men and that puts its foot up black men's ass. Everyone knows it, including black women, including you, Chrissy. So what these women are saying is, what was the point, Rose, of marrying the white man if you're going to have to take care of him financially? If you earn more than him, if you're floating him? Stop acting dumb, Chrissy. Now that's if you are acting. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't have it in me today to BS around with Chrissy. Chrissy know better. She knows better. I'm not even gonna let her hide with the little with these black men. These black women are over here saying this. Are you admitting that black men are dusties and losers? No, you know what they're saying. And if you don't know, Mr. Z just informed you. Let me say it one more again. What these black women are saying is that we live in an anti-black society that keeps its foot up black men's ass, that tries its hardest to keep black men from procuring and acquiring resources and keeping and maintaining their resources. And what's the point of dating out and marrying out to a non-black man, primarily a white man, and a society that advantages said white man? If you're going to take care of him financially, then what was the point? You might as well have been with a black man. You understand that's what these women are saying, unless you don't understand, and that's frightening. I'm telling y'all, these weirdo black people, these outlier black people doing a whole lot of talking. Chrissy, it is frightening if you don't get it. Quite frankly, if you're purposely being obtuse, that's actually less frightening than if you don't get it for real. If you actually don't understand what these black women were saying, that speaks to how, talk about black male identified. No, that speaks to how white identified you are, how anti-black you are, actually, including anti-black women. If you don't get what these black women are saying, that's really, really scary. And that speaks to something larger about how many black people are anti-black, and y'all like borderline short mustache man, including to black women. To be frank with you, I would rather you have been purposely being obtuse instead of you actually not getting it. That's pretty damn scary. Huh? So Chrissy admits that, and says essentially a lot of this swirler content, black women in luxury content, soft life content is glamour and should be consumed as entertainment, escapism, and inspirational content. So I told y'all that years ago, some 3 or 4 years ago at this point, that Chrissy had a stream where she said escapism. She said fantasy. I'm glad she said it again. Compassionate, clip it, put it in the book. Wherever you are, compassionate and callous. I'm glad Chrissy's actually saying it again. Now y'all get a chance to see it yourselves, and y'all can see that Z wasn't making it up. That a lot of this swirler content, I said it before, a lot of this swirler content, black women level up, black women and luxury content, is meant as escapism for black women. That goes back to what BGS told you when Crystal and Karazin had her little retreat with all of these swirler black women, how many of them were actually in relationships with black men, and how many of them had, and even if they weren't in a relationship with a black man, had never touched a white man. It's escapism and entertainment. So let's be very clear what we're saying here. Black women using neo-Nazi language towards black men, speaking about how black men ain't ish, insulting black men, comparing black men to white men and deeming black men lacking, speaking about the mythical, magical, rich white man who's going to come and sweep them off their feet and show black men how real men are supposed to treat women, particularly black women, particularly dark-skinned black women. All of that is just entertainment. Huh. Yeah. And survey says 62% of black women are single. Imagine saying, thinking, feeling that speaking about black men this way, the vitriol towards black men, the swirler divestors talk, the insane black women in luxury talk, the delusional what country, what world you're living in talk is just entertainment. It's just escapism. It's just inspirational. It's inspirational, right? Wow. Huh? Yes, black people. Yes, black men. That's the world you live in, where black women like Chrissy is saying, "Yeah, we didn't say crazy stuff about you, but it's just entertainment. It's just escapism on our part. You know, we just say these things to be inspirational to other black women." And then you wonder why you meet in these black women, these younger black women under the age of 35, under the age of 30, and when they're talking to you about their dreams and aspirations, it's not just like some type of realistic dreams and aspirations. You're like, yeah, we could try to make that happen. Yeah. No, it just sounds absolutely delusional. Well, Chrissy, everyone, Chrissy. And women of her ilk, women like her. They think talking Nazi like is just entertainment and escapism. Huh? Do we all sometimes go a bit off the reservation? Yes, but Chrissy she's on the hmm, I wouldn't say on the light end. She's just not extreme as others. At least not rhetorically. At least not all the time. And even she's off the reservation by a zillion miles. And what she's saying is, oh yeah, no, this is just escapism, right? It's just inspirational talk. It's just fantasy. Wow, right? Wow, right? Talk about frightening, huh? So continuing, Chrissy, consider this. No matter what black men do, I said black men, excuse me. Consider this. No matter what black women do, they can't escape the numbers. 40% of women earn more than their black, 40% of women writ large earn more than their male counterparts. Let's say that again because I kind of fumbled that. 40% of women earn more than their male counterparts in America. And that number was as of, what was it, like 2017, 2018? So we're fast approaching a decade. And that number, by the way, is only going up. Black women can't escape the numbers because women can't escape the numbers. A real question for you, Chrissy, and I want to tie this to another comment that you made about the relationship dynamics, right? Let me actually see if I could find that where you said something about the relationship dynamics, right? Okay, there we go. And Chrissy talks about how much more likely it is to find traditional relationship dynamics in non-black men, right? So let me get this right, Chrissy. If we're supposed to understand this correctly, and Dr. Richard Reeves, that's a white man, that's a PhD researcher. He's not even American, he's British descent. And gives you 1 second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. Reckless streams, y'all already know. Okay, so continuing. Let's kind of continue this for a little bit. So once again, as I was saying, Dr. Richard Reeves Chrissie, PhD researcher, the author of Boys and Men, speaks about how much black women sabotage black men, black women sabotage black boys, and programs meant to uplift black boys and black men. So this speaks to multiple different angles here. We live in an anti-black society. When there are things that are proposed to uplift black boys and black men, black women get in the way. Now, Chrissy, let's walk through this. How is this supposed to work? We're supposed to put the thumb on the scales in our society for women writ large, black women specifically, right? And then when it's time for black women to entertain marriage, really mid 20s, early 20s, but okay, fine, late 20s, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, right? Fine. When it's time for black Huh? No, I'm back, y'all. I'm back. We want to be soft girl era. We want to be black women in luxury. We want to be soft girls. We want to be hypergamous. Right? Wow. And to that I say, Chrissy, if you and your mother's generation and your grandmother's generation are purposely getting in the way of our society and black men putting black boys in position so that the women that end up with them, including black women, obviously, primarily because black men, when they do get married, still primarily marry black women. If you're getting in the way of black boys being in the position so that the women that end up with them can be hypergamous, then do you not understand how this is a problem that women like you are perpetuating? Do you not? You want traditional relationship dynamics. And yet, women like you, black women like you, are literally in the way of your own aspirations. How in the hell? I said they're not doing the social math. When I said it, I meant it. They're not doing the social math. Then they're complaining and yelling how it's not fair. It's not fair. And it's going to get worse because women writ large continue to marshal the state to disproportionately advantage them. There's only so many elite men to go around, Chrissy. There's only so many upper middle class men to go around, Chrissy. I didn't just say black men. I'm saying men. Y'all are not doing it. Y'all are not doing the social math, Chrissy. You're not. Y'all want to, Chrissy, you yourself said traditional relationship dynamics, right? That's what you said, traditional relationship dynamics. How are you going to get and keep a traditional relationship dynamic when you're literally advocating, and maybe not you, yes, you too, but maybe not you, that we put the thumb on the scales for the women, for black girls, for black women? How is this supposed to work for black girls and black women? Huh? Wow. So I really want to stress this. If y'all click the link in the description box, you'll listen to Chrissy talk. It's about 25 minutes long. Um, Chrissy, this speaks to not just your delusion and other black women that think like you and feel like you delusion. It speaks to a anger, a resentment, a lack of not comprehension, just maybe considering how this is supposed to work, even for you and the women you advocate for. Chrissy, black women are gonna run into this wall even when they date out. And I find it interesting that you actually admitted that, yeah, the interracial divorce rate for black women is lower, or black women and white men in particular, is lower than the national average divorce rate. But as black women marry out more, it's probably going to level out and go up, right? It's interesting you said that and just admitted that, because me and you both know that's what it's gonna be. Because even when black women marry out, the vast majority of them are just not going to be able to engage in hypergamy, especially not that type of hypergamy that you're speaking about. Chrissy, either we live in an anti-black society or we don't. And if we do live in an anti-black society, which, to be honest, you know is true, then black women are going to be. Let's tie what I'm saying right now to something else. Once again, the loyalty talk comes up. The black women are too loyal to black men. And Rose saying to Tasha K, which Chrissy backs up, that black women are far too loyal to black men. And that what Rose pushes on her channel and what Chrissy pushes on her channel is that black women need to expand their options. And that black men are not nearly as loyal. Black men do not defend black women from women like who? You, Chrissy? Black men do not defend black women. Black men are not nearly as loyal as black women are. And black women need to expand their options, especially if they're trying to be soft girls and black women in luxury and, date hypergamously, marry hypergamously. Definitely marry hypergamously. But Chrissy, your life is a testament to maybe, possibly, probably, it definitely is, that it's not that black women are more loyal to black men, it's that not enough black women are able to have those relationships, situationships, F buddy ships, I guess, and friends with benefits that they engage in with non-black men. Not enough black women are able to have those situations evolve into marriage, into an interracial marriage with said non-black man, primarily white man. Chrissy, your own life, from my understanding, Chrissy, you've never been married, right? You said you've been engaged a few times, but you've never been married. But you've been swirling for how long, Chrissy? Your life is a testament to what we speak about here. Your life is a testament to what Tasha K was speaking about. It's not that black women are against expanding their options. It's whether that Latino man, that Asian man, or that white man is willing to marry, literally ring on finger marriage at the courthouse, marry, public ceremony, inviting friends and family, marry, walking down the aisle, marry black women. That is, I would argue, far more of what's actually going on than black women's loyalty to black men. Black women have been speaking about how black men ain't ish for a pretty damn long time, and how they can expand their options for a pretty damn long time, Chrissy. Not years, but decades, Chrissy. Is it black women's loyalty, or is it white, Asian, Latino, indigenous, et cetera, type of men's anti-blackness towards black women, where they're willing to engage in extracurricular sex fun with black women? They're willing to engage in situationships with black women, even relationships with black women, but not marry enough of black women, that is. And is it possible, Chrissy, that black women's collective ego just doesn't want to admit, A, it's not our loyalty, it's white men, Asian men, Latino men's anti-blackness concerning black women, at least when it comes to marriage? Huh? Black women like you, Chrissy, are engaging in this type of rhetoric, this type of anti-black male rhetoric, this type of black men are dusty, the collective of black men are not on white men's level. Black men use racism and anti-blackness as an excuse. You, Leona, Worldwide, Real Talk with Yanni, Paris Malone, I hear y'all, I hear y'all. Cool, cool. And what do non-black men have to say about that? Huh? I get it. I expected this. Chrissy came, of course, because the swirler conversation came up because of Rose and that white husband, Queens of King. And of course, y'all know Chrissy got to run to the rescue of Rose, acting like she don't understand what country she live in. When we put the microphone up front of the honest white men, Chrissy, what do they say, Chrissy? What do they say, Chrissy? What did hmm, what did Undead Chronic say, Chrissy? What did the random white dude on that talk show say? We got so many white men who are being honest about how black women treat them, how black women speak to them about black men. Huh? Chrissy, this is not about black men. Low key, this is not even about white men or non-black men. This is about black women and how they think of themselves, how they feel about themselves in this anti-black society, and how they think about white women. Ooh, and the myth of white womanhood. Huh? Yeah. Chrissy, you yourself admitted that divorce rate between black women and white men, or black women and non-black men, is likely to rise as more black women end up with white men. You damn right. Me and you both know it. Chrissy, you know how much anti-blackness you spewed on this video? You don't have to be necessarily aggressive and vitriolic with it. You know how much anti-blackness you spewed on this video? The black women that were saying to Rose, what was the point of ending up with the white man if you got to take care of him financially? You act like you didn't get it. So are y'all saying that, yeah, black men are dusty, and like, okay, so what was the point? You ended up with a dusty white man. You should have just stayed with black men. Chrissy, stop. What black women are saying, the black women that are saying this to Rose, is that you live in an anti-black society. You live in a society that advantages white men like your white husband. What was the point of you ending up with your white husband in a society that advantages white men just like him if you're going to be the one taking care of him financially? That's what they were saying. If I had to be of a straight black man had to be the one to spell it out for you. I didn't have to be the one to spell it out for you, Chrissy. You were acting dumb. Hopefully you were acting dumb. Huh? This is real, everyone. Chrissie tying herself into knots, tying herself into a pretzel just to be obtuse and pretend like she don't get it. Huh? And Demetrius says, I think this all boils down to a lack of understanding social engineering. I agree, brother. I agree. Right? Oh, that's funny, and there's a pun in there. And Earth says they don't see the dust on white skin. I would argue they overlook the dust on white skin, but I think some sisters might not see it. Some black women might not see it, but I would argue for many of them they overlook it. They overlook it until they can't do it anymore. They ignore it until they can't ignore it anymore. Right? Huh. This is not sustainable. We know this. Black women keep on throwing black men under the bus for the mythical, magical white man that does not exist, and the ones that do exist, well, they show you they ass. Y'all thought you had Chris Evans. Huh? Y'all thought y'all had Travis Kelce. Huh? And by the way, that goes to what Mr. Z has been saying for the longest. How many of these white dudes have had quote unquote relationships and situationships and F buddies and right women of the night that are black? Right? But yet you ain't never seen them with a black woman in public, or you have seen them with a black woman in public, but they never got married to one. Everyone from Brad Pitt to Chris Evans. Huh? To Ashton Kutcher. Is it black women's Chrissy? That's a real question. For many black women, is it their loyalty, or is it that the white dude just didn't marry you? He never proposed. Chrissy, you said you've been proposed to multiple times. You've been engaged multiple times, if I'm not mistaken. But from my understanding, you ain't never been married. You fit into what we're saying. If there's a statistic for how many black women have had sex interracially, but they're not married interracially, wouldn't you fit into that? Wouldn't how many black women out of 100 would fit into that? Chrissy, you better be glad that there's no numbers on that. There aren't any numbers on that. We don't have any stats on that. Because I promise you, it would put a good ass death knell to what you're saying when we find some upwards of 20 some odd, 30 some odd percent, 40 some odd percent. I don't think it's the majority of black women, but I think it's a nice ass minority of black women who have had sex interracially. Not that little 4 and some odd percent of black women that's married interracially. Huh? Or that 12% if you control for only married black women. Huh? I get it, Chrissy. Same thing with Leona Worldwide. So there's a lot of these black women. They just can't help it. Cynthia G, they just can't help it. Black men are these mouth-breathing idiots. We could just talk about them and to them however we want because they ain't going to do nothing about it. They too dumb. Huh? Demetrius says, bro, I saw someone recorded live of Rose and her husband's argument. She was egging him on and threatening him. It was so ashy, bro. Demetrius says, Rose even admitted she suffers from prepartum depression. I thought it was postpartum depression and anxiety. She said she stayed going to the doctor. There's something wrong upstairs, literally. And Demetrius also says, and I'm not making fun of her for that. By the way, this is serious. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm covering this first because, of course, our favorite swirler queen extraordinaire is speaking about it. But secondly, to show how far some of these people are willing to go to be obtuse and to pretend like they don't understand what's going on here and what's being said. And you saw that with Chrissy and her response. You saw that with Chrissy literally said that these women are like tacitly admitting that these black men are dusty and these black men, for the most part, you can't practice traditional relationship with them. And when these women, black women, are saying, what's the point of being with the white man if you're going to take care of him financially? Then you're admitting that that's what many of you are engaging in with black men. Chrissy, once again, what these women are saying is you live in a society that advantages white men and keeps his foot in the ass of black men. What was the point of ending up with the white man that the society advantages if you're going to have to take care of him financially? What was the point? That's the part you're not saying, right? Yeah. And y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back, right? Okay. Let's do this. Regular streams, y'all already know. Yeah, so like I said, we're covering this because it is for this couple, and for those of you that at one point they were all over like that. There were so many shorts of this couple, and and she is antagonizing black men, and she's saying, like, this white man essentially took care of me when these black dusty men, pretty much left me out here to die because a black dusty man didn't want to take care of his responsibilities, and et cetera, et cetera. And so when we get a peek behind the curtain to see what's really going on. That's why so many black women took issue with Rose. That's why the other half of black women took issue with Rose. There are different factions. The faction that took an issue with Rose emasculating her man was like, yo, you man, you exposed the truth. I didn't want to know that. You're supposed to keep that close to chest, especially concerning a white man. And by the way, Chrissie kind of skims on this, but she doesn't want to emphasize that the white element of it all. No, you are disabusing us of the idea, the delusion, that the mythical, magical white man took on this baby mama, this black baby mama, darker skinned, not dark, but darker skinned black woman who's a baby mom and is paying for everything and kissing her dirty draws. We need the fantasy. Chrissie, you yourself said a lot of this entertainment a lot of this content is entertainment and fantasy and essentially wish fulfillment. That's what Rose was engaging in, and she took that away from the black women that love this type of stuff by being honest about the dynamic between her and her white husband. Right? That's much of the issue they have here. And you're just acting like you don't get it. Right? Unless you actually don't get it, and then that's frightening. There are a lot of black women, this is what they do. This is actually frightening to me with a lot of black people writ large, to be honest with you. That doesn't mean you're not black, but it does mean there's certain like gaps in your understanding of what it means to be socially and politically black, where black people are saying one thing but you ain't hearing it. Right? You're not getting it, and it's frightening if you actually don't get it. Right? What is there an unintentional cooning? You unintentionally cooning? Right? Yeah, Chrissie, it's frightening if you actually don't get it. Yes. Right? So yeah, no, she said these things, and once again, coming to the defense of Rose because swirler content, and we need Chrissie. Do you understand why I said a couple of years ago, like it's as if you're doing this for the money? Now I hear you if you say, "Oh, I don't need the money." Okay, fine, cool. But do you not understand why I said that? You admitted that a lot of this is like entertainment. You said that, right? Your words. You called it entertainment. You called it what, fantasy? So this is what y'all inner racist white woman, inner racist white man? Huh? All right, y'all. I listened to it about 25 minutes long. I think it is an important listen um to see how far certain people are willing to go to push a narrative and a message. What is great is that Chrissie, and by the way, Compassionate, if you listening in, I'm not sure the timestamp. I'll try to post it in my comments, but somewhere in there within the first, I don't know, 15 or so minutes, something like that, Chrissie admits like this is a lot of it is just entertainment, right? Essentially, she said it's wish fulfillment TV, right? It's fantasy, it's escapism. That thing, it was very important that she said it's escapism. And as I've said before, I foresee more and more women writ large engaging in this weirdo spiritual practices talk, spirituality talk, right? All of this magic talk, manifest talk, especially as in. And what's frightening is the women like Chrissy who know better. They're gonna lean further and further into that, right? Astrology talk, and I'm not saying that astrology is nothing, but let's be honest. Most of the people that's leaning into that, it's escapism. Most of the women who's leaning into that, it's escapism. As the financial times get harder and harder for people, I argue that you're going to see more and more women. That's what they're going to be on, right? I argue that's what you're going to. That's what they're going to be on, right? And I want black men to be careful. All, especially you single black men, you younger brothers, be careful for with this one with women writ large, because they're going to be all over the place, scattered like hell, trying to find something to hold on to because that degree isn't giving what they thought it should have gave. Shout out to women for that phrase. That middle management position is not giving what they thought it should give. Those baby luxury cars are not making up for not having a family. The girls' trips are not making up for not having a family. The brunches are not making up for not having a family. Right? All the Meg Thee Stallion talk and what's her name? Whatever Walker. I forgot her damn. Why do I always forget her damn name? All that strong and independent, these men ain't ish, black men ain't ish talk, music is not helping them. So you're just gonna watch them fall further and further into insanity, delusion, manifest talk, spiritual, weird spiritual practices. If you add 5 plus 5 and then divide it by 5, you'll be in forever in the God's favor. What? Huh? I argue you'll see more of that. Oh crap! Oh no, it's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. Hmm? Women are and because once we already know everyone speaks about men's pride and ego. We don't really speak about women's pride and ego. So women's pride and ego gonna tell them that they don't have to negotiate with no man, especially if he's not extraordinarily rich, right? Insanely wealthy. So they're not gonna negotiate. Many of them are not gonna negotiate with a man. They're not gonna horse trade. They're not gonna compromise. Right? They're gonna get their eartha kid on. Exactly. And go out like she did without the money. Chrissy, wasn't it you that said you tell average and below average looking black women if they can't date hypergamously, then be single, stay single, or be alone. Stay alone, right? All right. There's a consequence to that. Once again, St. Louis Federal Reserve, single black women have the least amount of wealth in America. Huh? Not smart. This is not advice. Chrissy, what you're engaging in, this is going to hurt black women. I recall a little while ago, Chrissy kind of mocking and making fun of, and it might have even been me, but whoever it was that called her an agent or said this is agent-like behavior. Chrissy, no, this, like, no, for real, like what you're engaging in is like agent-like behavior. If you're not really an agent, if you're really not somewhere in some, you're not getting chipped off by some type of alphabet boys, this is agent-like behavior. Consider what you're saying. Consider what country you live in and what white men have shown you and what non-black men have shown you about what they think by and large about black women. Think of what Rose just exposed about herself and her white husband. You saw her doing damage control, Chrissy. You saw that for what it is. She's so, in a moment of anger. That's why I told y'all when they're angry, they be telling the truth. In a moment of anger, she let it all hang out. She told you the truth about her and that white husband's dynamic. And now she want to play cleanup and damage control because she realized she just dispelled the fantasy and the main reason why black women were over there in the first place, because a darker skinned black baby mom found a white dude to take care of her and take on those two black children that some loser black man did not. That was the fantasy. In a moment of anger, she dispelled the fantasy and now she's playing cleanup and damage control. Huh? I want to continue to stress this over and over again. The black men that are about black women are really about black women. It is women like Chrissie throwing salt in the game that help to make it even more difficult than it already is to couple up in this anti-black society. For all of you that say black love is not revolutionary, BS. Now, is it the be all end all? No. Just loving on a black woman and a black woman loving on you? No, it's not the be all end all. But when you have both intra community actors and interracial or non-black community, non-community actors attempting to keep black men and black women separate, both romantically and platonically, yes, black love is revolutionary. And you can see that in the way Chrissy speaks about non-black relationships. You can see that in the way Chrissy speaks about black relationships and black men specifically. Huh? And I'm Waffles is it's kind of like they're trying to act out those Zane novels that they sell in grocery stores, right? Chrissy's life, if she is to be if she is to be believed, the fact that you've been dating interracially for how long, and yet you've never been married, whether it's you ending those relationships or not, is a testament to what we're saying here. For those of you that don't know Chrissy, you're a black woman. They'd be like, "Oh, look, she another black woman. She probably load of black men, and that's why she ain't married because you lose your black men and giving her son to be married to, giving her something to aspire to. Meanwhile, you a swirler. You are a swirler, huh? You are you are an example of what we speak about when we say just because the interracial marriage rate for black women is low does not mean that black women are not engaging in interracial sex with non-black men, in situationships with non-black men, in quote unquote relationships never evolve into marriage with non-black men, right? You use Serena Williams and Gabby Sidibe as an example. They're moving in silence, and that's how black women are supposed to be moving. They're not trying to throw their white husbands in black men's faces. They're not being antagonistic. Most black women that engage in this, they can't help it because much of the reason why they have the white or non-black spouse is to say, you see, black men, y'all didn't treat me like the pretty light-skinned chick. Oh boy. Oh, huh? You didn't put me on the pedestal. they can't help but be an antagonistic, Chrissy. And as we're finding out more and more, sometimes it's not even that, right? Black women, black girls were just in the corner seizing at any girl or woman that black men found attractive, black boys found attractive, that wasn't the darkest of skin tones with the widest of nose and the kinkiest of hair. Huh? The more we let black women talk, we're finding out, oh man, it's even worse than we thought. And so they listen to Chrissy as a form of quote unquote entertainment. And I've said this before. What a lot of these women that listen to Chrissy, Yanni, Paris Milan, Lexus Exodus, right? Cynthia G, etc., Crystalline Kerosene, is because they want to first have whatever feeling they're feeling validated. Secondly, they want someone to articulate what they're feeling in a way they feel is even better than how they would say it. Right? Y'all don't listen to Paris. Smart move, right? Y'all don't really get that, like how insane some of Paris rhetoric is, and like the Paris that's swag that she puts on, huh? Y'all saw it in Leona Worldwide a little bit, huh? You saw it in Cynthia G a bit. For those of us that remember the Grapevine, you saw it in Uchechi, especially concerning black men. These type of black women, they put on this. I'm better than you, but I still want you to be there and pay for everything, right? I'm doing you a favor by you being in my presence and paying for everything, right? By allowing for you to be paymaster, huh? So yeah, these they listen to these women because they get off on hearing these women talk crazy about us. They get off on hearing Chrissy speak the way she did, and essentially nothing to see here. That's what they love, that Chrissy is telling them nothing to see here. Let me give you the words. Let me give you the ideas to play around with, because I know you feel a bit rattled. You feel a bit rattled because you watch Rose torch your fantasy of the white man that's going to take you as a baby mama and kiss your dirty draws and save you from certain fate of being the single baby mama indefinitely. So let me help you to assuage whatever fear you feel, because Rose dispelled whatever fantasy, whatever delusions you had going on. And here comes Chrissy. Huh? So on that note, everyone, I don't want to keep y'all too long. Um, Mr. Z says that he spoke for an hour. So on that note, everyone, look, I wanted to cover this. And then I actually want to read this comment from Demetrius before we end out. Where is that comment? I saw it. Oh, wait a minute. Where did that comment go? Mr. Z, can you not read now? Oh, there we go. And to that I say, use your ears and move accordingly. Yes. When y'all hear these things, this is not Z trying to scare you off from black women, right? I'm not the male equivalent of what these women are on. I'm telling you to move accordingly, and I'm actually telling you you're gonna see this in non-black women also. I'm if we're going to if the American economy for the average person is sputtering right now. Inflation is putting its foot in people's ass right now. You're going to see women breaking. Some of those women are going to try to get attached to you. And yeah, you can negotiate whoever you want to negotiate with. That's black and non-black women are going to try to get attached to you as a lifeline, as a lifeboat. And the ones with way too much pride and ego, and they're not going to go back on their word, and they on some feminist stuff. And I spent way too long saying men ain't ish and black men in specific ain't ish for me to go back on my word now. You're going to watch them break. You're going to watch them shatter. You're going to watch them crack. You're going to watch them fracture. And that's going to take the form, and that's going to come in the form of many different things. I already said, from the antidepressant pills to the attempts at self-deletion to the dipping in the bottle way too much, coming to work hungover. Huh? You're going to see that. Being extremely antagonistic, hypersexual, while also being hyper aggressive and antagonistic, right? You're going to see all of that from women. You're going to see that from men too, to be honest with you. It's going to be people that they get off on harming others because this is the one time they get to exercise any power because life just been punching on them. That's how they feel. That is how they are going to feel. Life stayed punching on me. I finally get to be on the upside of something in my life, and that's any type of random altercation with any type of person. And yes, women are going to engage in that also. That includes black women. Huh? But the women that have their head on right, that includes black women. They're gonna look out the window and be like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't want to go out there. Okay, let's negotiate something." They're gonna see the Chrissies, they're gonna see the Rose, right? They're gonna see the Real Talk with Yannies, and they're not gonna want any of that. Huh? At least Chrissy admit that a lot of this swirler content and black women in luxury content, soft life content is glamour and should be consumed as entertainment, escapism, and inspirational content. At least she admitted it. Right? Huh. At least she admitted it, everyone. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't forget anything. Yeah, no. Just Chrissy speaking as if because black women are the quote unquote primary breadwinners, that she's reading that a bit off. Black women are the primary breadwinners because black men are not in the home. Black men are not in the home because, well, black women purposely break up the family. And there you go. Black men earn more than black women. Black men have more wealth than black women. So how is it that black women earn less than black men on average, and yet they are the primary breadwinners in their homes? Yeah, because they're in the homes without a man. They're not married. Stop insulting our intelligence, Chrissy. I know you don't think we have much, but if you operated like we did, then maybe you wouldn't speak this way and have what you're saying easily debunked, easily disproven. Huh? Every time when these swirler women get caught up, this is the same thing y'all did when black women felt a certain way about all those NFL players. that recently got drafted with their white girlfriends. This is the same. That's when Paris Milan came in to do damage control because black women. Oh my heart! Look at all these black men that are about to be millionaires, and all of these white women that are going to benefit from it. My heart. Where are you, Paris? Speak for me. This is the same thing that Chrissie did with Kelsey Nicole and Travis and no, I said Kelsey Nicole. Sorry, Travis Kelsey and Kayla Nicole, where she came and did damage control, and now she's doing damage control again for this Queens of King lady, for Rose. Every time one of these weirdo swirler women, or anytime one of these women, even if they're not purposely antagonistic to black men or whatever, whenever we find out, oh, that's what's going on with y'all situation. Or anytime black men look like they're truly unbothered and they just live in their life and they happen to be with a non-black woman, one of these women got to come out the woodworks and just, dear black women, there's nothing to worry about. Black men are still dusty. They're still losers. You can still, not even you can, you will still be able to find you a mythical, magical, rich white man that pays for everything and does everything and kisses your ass. Right? And saves you from yourself and saves you from Blackistan. Right? Yeah. Dylan says, how much does the average black woman make? I think for 40-hour work weeks, it's like 30 something. Was it 30, 38 or 36,000, something like that, like 36,000. I think for 40-hour work weeks. And I think when it's just like black women in general, I think it's like more like 28 or something like that, 28,000, something along those lines, 28 or 30,000. But then when you count 40, and when that's just black women writ large, I think black women that are lucky enough to get 40-hour work weeks, I think it's something along the lines of like 36,000, something along those lines. Because I think black men are like 41,000 and black women are like 36,000 a year. Right? Something along those lines. I might be off on the numbers a bit, but I think on average black men earn more than black women, like some $5,000 a year or something along those lines. Right. So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. Love piece of chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I wanted to cover this, and I don't want to step on too many toes. I know other people are streaming. Yeah, I wanted to cover this because I think Chrissie, in this attempt at damage control for Rose, and just giving black women, don't worry, black women, I'm here to the rescue. I'll give us the language. Right? Black women felt frustrated. They felt disappointed. They can no longer live through Rose and her white husband. They can no longer fantasize about, okay, I'm just like Rose. I'm a baby mama of 2 or 3, and I too can meet me a rich white man, or at least an upper middle class white man that's willing to take on me and my kids, and he's gonna pay for everything, and he's gonna let me make divester swirler content, kind of go mocking and antagonizing black men, and yes, right. And we'll end on that, and it's definitely true. And GC says, "Hopium for the queens," and that's exactly what Mr. Z is saying. Right. So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. Reckless streams. You already know Z got stuff to do. So all right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Like I said, y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. We'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.